Euro currency holds steady today, right around 118. But more importantly, what it did is didn't give up those gains that we saw late last week. Recall last week we had the Jackson Hole Symposium and Fed Chair Powell spoke, giving more dovish comments, sending the dollar lower and propping up FX, including the euro. So the euro pops up, up to 118. It didn't see much of an extension today, but certainly didn't give back any of the gains that we saw last week. Taking a step back and taking a look at a euro chart, you'll notice that at the end of May, we were trading north of 122, and by the middle of August, we were trading middle of right around 116.5. So we have made some strides higher since that August low, but we have still ways to go in order to get back to recapture some of those losses that we've seen. And a lot of that came on the stronger dollar with expectations that the Federal Reserve would be raising rates or at least tapering their asset purchases. And at this point, it looks like they may be tapering asset purchases into the end of this year. But Mr. Powell highlighted that any change or any adding of tapering to the policy changes doesn't necessarily reflect on a timing of rate hikes. And at this point right now, the market seems to be bent on a rate hike not coming until the late part of 2022, early part of 2023. And last I checked, it was August 30th of 2021. So still a long way to go before rates go up. The tapering process may begin later this year, but I think the market was looking for something more aggressive, and it didn't get it. The dollar sank, and the euro, among other FX currencies, rallied. So a lot of the focus isn't necessarily on economic activity in the euro, nor is it focused on the ECB. It's more, this last few weeks, it's been more focused on the Federal Reserve and Mr. Powell speaking, and obviously it has gotten a bit of a bullish response to that testimony. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, if you check out that CVOL index over at cmegroup.com, you will notice that volatility has declined on this latest little bump higher in the euro. And clearly, it is a risk-on type of trade, the no-fear type of trade. We look at risk assets like equities have been doing very well. We look at riskless assets, and they've been kind of sideways to lower. So at this point, the euro enjoying some of that risk-on trade. And again, volatility suffering because of it. Lastly, let's look at positioning. What are the speculators doing, or what did they do, more importantly? Prior to Mr. Powell's testimony last week, we saw speculators exiting their long positions. It'll be very interesting to see in this week's CFTC report if they added them back. So clearly the big move higher was fueled not only by the dollar getting hit, but also likely speculators jumping back in to get long to enjoy that ride. So at this point, it'll be more clear to us when we get that CFTC report this Friday. So the euro trading sideways today, but holding on to those gains after that very dovish testimony from Fed Chair Powell from the Jackson Hole Symposium.